If you've ever seen the movie The Ghost in the Darkness, you've seen a Howdah pistol. It was used by Michael Douglas's character. This is actually a very rare gun, made for a very specific purpose, and that's self-defense against tigers.
Necessity is the mother of invention. If you have a need, someone will find a way of developing something to fulfill it. Certainly that's been the driving force of the evolution of the technology of firearms throughout history. Most of them having been developed to outgun and overpower one's foe on the battlefield. But one of my favorite niches, and one that is so small, is called the Howdah pistol. And here's a gun just to take tiger hunting from elephants.
The Howdah is this wicker basket to carry hunters while tiger hunting. And this is what they were invented for. When that tiger comes up, you want to have a backup, and you want to have a big backup.
Initial Howdah pistols were big, like double-barreled percussion guns or flintlock guns. Well, when the cartridge era came in, they were able to modify some of the high-end British double rifles to pistol version. And basically that's what Howdahs are. I've got one, the one in my collection has a typical Lang type underlever. It's the same lever I've got another actual sporting rifle of my own. The mechanism was the same. As a matter of fact, you look at it and you can see where all they did was basically kind of whack down the barrels, modify the stock a little bit, and bingo, the locks are the same, the action's the same, and you could also fire very, 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 very powerful large cartridges in it. The one we're looking at here is a .577 caliber. It's chambered for the British .577 Snider round. Now, a .577 Snider round is nasty to shoot when you're shooting it in a rifle. In the pistol, it's absolutely horrendous. However, I'll guarantee you when you have several hundred pounds of flashing teeth and fangs coming up at you and claws, you're not even going to feel the recoil.
This is essentially a double rifle with a pistol grip and a short barrel. You know, once they figured out centrally primed cartridges, they became very effective. They'd always go off. And as a self-defense gun at close range against a large animal, I can't think of anything more effective. The thing about the Howdah is you have to think about the people who are purchasing these. If you're tiger hunting enough that you need a Howdah pistol, odds are you're pretty wealthy. And one of the finest examples of the Howdah is here in the International Firearms Museum. It's an Alexander Henry, and it's beautiful. It's beautifully cased. It has loading tools with ivory handles, and it has a lot of gold inlay. I mean, this is a best quality gun. I mean, you're not going to be able to buy a nicer gun than this.
The Howdah pistol as a type is typically had either 2 barrels or 4 barrels. And it was typically a break open design, and what that offered you was an enclosed breech that, unlike the revolvers of the time, didn't allow for any gas leakage. So you could get higher velocities out of these big bore rifle rounds that could provide more stopping power on the receiving end than you could get from the equivalent service revolver of the time. The other thing is that if you've ever seen any of the early British service revolvers, like the Enfield Mark II, they had some issues with them, both in terms of the cartridges didn't offer all that much stopping power comparatively, and they had problems jamming up and in reloading. The Enfield Mark II was kind of notorious for this, whereas the Howdah design, you could break open, you could get the shells out of there, you could put fresh shells in there and get it back into action quickly. So the Howdah pistol, while it was never an issue arm in the British military, it was a popular purchase piece for many of these wealthy aristocratic officers going into service in India.
Today they're very highly collectible. They're a lot of fun to shoot. I shoot mine, quite often. However, I do have loads that I've kind of loaded down for it. Number one, because shooting 5.77 Snyder all day is really tough on your hand. And number two, the gun is 100 and some odd years old. And so that kind of recoil and that kind of punishment is just a little rough on it.